Mr. Kalish, would you please conduct a roll call?
Carroll, Murphy Lopez, Van Landite, Seep, McKee, Brewer,
Here.
Luck,
Here.
Manning, Gotcho, Glassbrenner, Rudersdorf, Gentis, Turk, Cosgrove, Frank, Severson,
Present.
Williamson, Hui, Nelson,
Here.
Call, and McGuire. You have a quorum 20-21.
Thank you. Monsignor Shekel of St. Mary's is here. He would like to lead us in an invocation. Please stand.
Good evening. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Heavenly Father, pour forth your grace upon the members of this county board, that they may deliberate with the wisdom and the knowledge necessary to successfully address the challenges and concerns that come before them this evening. May the deliberations of this body safeguard and further the common good, so that your blessings become more evident in the lives of the citizens of Richland County. O Lord, protect the people of this area from the spread of the COVID infection, as well as any other natural disasters. We ask that you bless our county, our state and nation with harmony and peace, preserving us from the dangers of factionalism and division. Keep us in your peace. We ask all of this through your Son, Jesus Christ, who lives and reigns with you and the Holy Spirit, one God, forever and ever. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Mr. Kalish, while we're standing, would you please lead us in the pledge? We have a relatively brief agenda tonight for us, not the typical 40 or 50 numbered agenda. And if you'd look it over, please, we have 19 items. I will accept a motion to approve the agenda. Mr. Williamson, Mr. McKee, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? We have an agenda. Have you reviewed the minutes of the January 18th meeting? Are there any additions, corrections, subtractions? Hearing none, I will approve those minutes as published. Number 6 brings us down to petitions on zoning amendments. And number 7 is a report on rezoning petitions recommended for denial. And Mr. Bindle is not present tonight. However, he did email me and said that he does not have anything under those items. The only thing that is pending approval is number 8, a resolution approving the town of Ithaca's rezoning of a parcel belonging to Wiedenfeld Properties LLC. Mr. Kalish.
This will be resolution number 22-11. Now therefore be it resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that in accordance with Wisconsin statutes, section 60.62 sub 3, approval is hereby granted for rezoning the following described 11.06 acre parcel from agricultural zoning district to the agricultural residential district in accordance with the town of Ithaca's zoning ordinance. Be it further resolved that the zoning administrator shall send a copy of this resolution to the clerk for the town of Ithaca, and be it further resolved that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon its passage and publication. And this resolution is being offered to you by the Zoning and Land Information Committee.
You've heard the resolution. What is your pleasure? Okay, Mr. Mark Cooey and Chad beside him seconds. I have trouble those first and last names. Okay. We have Virginia Wiedenfeld here ready to speak on this, so I suppose we should vote. Yeah, let's get this before the body. All those in favor?
No.
Signify by saying aye. Opposed? That doesn't seem right.
No.
We want to
Discuss
speak to
first.
this. We want background first.
Okay.
Yeah, discussion. We need a discussion,
This
Virginia.
on?
You're on. Virginia Wiedenfeld was a county board member for many years, so she's a familiar face.
Zoning administrator for Ithaca Township. This property is on a hillside. It has been farmed, but it's not good farmland. And so the town board of Ithaca approved this. It's being sold to a young man that wants to build a house there. And it is over our zoning. We have 5 acres for agriculture, residential. So this is wanting to take out of ag and put in ag residential. And the board did approve it. Town
Okay.
board.
All right, so you've heard the background. This is from Ithaca, but we have to approve it because they have not adopted the uniform zoning. So all those in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted. Okay, brings us down to item number 9. And I tell you what, I have received a lot of information about item 9 today, and information I was not aware of or privy to. And this is one of those resolutions that started out in the parks or the county fair, the fair and rezoning committee, I believe, or recycling committee. And they wanted to shift some money around to make this purchase. So then it made its way into finance and personnel, which is why it strangely has finance and personnel people signing for the purchase of a lawnmower for the fairgrounds. So with that background, this item was put out for bids, et cetera, according to county procedure. Mr. Kalish, would you read the resolution, please?
Okay, all right. This would be resolution 22-12. Now therefore be it resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that approval is hereby granted for the recommendation sent by the Fair and Recycling Committee, the expenditure of $13,067.65 from Fund 75 for the purchase of a lawnmower made by Ferris and sold by Homesteader Store, 26425 Highway 14 East, Richland Center, Wisconsin, 53581. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon its passage and publication and is being offered to you by the Finance and Personnel Committee.
You've heard the resolution. What's your pleasure? Mrs. Rudelsdorf and Mr. Severson seconds. Discussion. Yes, sir, Mr. Seat.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I wish to speak on this issue. I also received a number of phone calls from more than one of the other bidders. The Personnel and Finance Committee approved the expenditure of these funds. It did not approve who the bid would be awarded to. I am opposed to this, and with all due respect, with the highest respect to the chairman of the Parks of the Fair and Recycling Committee, I have the greatest respect for him as a county board member. But in this case, in light of the information that has come to me, I would like to see this agenda item referred back to the Personnel Committee to collaborate with the Fair and Recycling Committee to give a total hearing, a full hearing to the complaints that have been made. Those allegations, whether true or not, are rather serious and could eventually cause problems, including some risk to Richland County. In the end, this well may be awarded the way it has been worded tonight. But I think it is in the best interest of the county, of the citizens of the county, to refer this matter back to the Finance and Personnel Committee for further review and an airing of the issues that have been brought before me. It is not appropriate for me or for this body tonight to discuss the identity of the other bidders. That is a matter that should be handled in an appropriate manner by the Personnel and Finance Committee. I have discussed this quite thoroughly with the complainants, and I believe that every citizen has a right to a fair hearing. The allegation is that there may be some unfairness. Whether that is true or not, it should be resolved before this board acts upon it. And so I am proposing that as an amendment, that this matter be referred back to the Finance Committee for further deliberation, along with the collaboration of the Fair and Recycling Committee, giving those who have complained an opportunity to bring forth their complaints before those committees.
Mr. Seep, are you suggesting a motion to postpone?
I am.
Then make that motion.
I move that we postpone this matter until further information is developed to the satisfaction of the Personnel Committee and the Fair and Recycling Committee.
Okay, we have a motion to postpone. Do we have a second to that motion? Mr. Manning, we do have a second. Now, I would imagine that we may have some confusion as to whether or not we want to postpone or do not want to postpone. So I'll allow some discussion on that.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not sure that there's debate on the motion to postpone.
Yeah, Mr. Seep, 1 second, please.
Is this on? Can you hear me? Okay. Nope. There we go. All right. Given the statements made by Supervisor Seep, if there's allegations of irregularity or concern that the bidding process was not handled appropriately, I would throw my support behind an opportunity to review the matter and the allegations that were brought up here. So,
Okay,
yes,
All right.
I support that motion.
Mr. McKee?
I've got a question. Was the bids and specifications put out there the equal?
Well, I would have to defer to the Fair Committee Chairman to answer that. Mr. Severson, if you would, please.
There were bids placed in the paper. The proper county procedure was followed. I will refer to Carla Downa, our fair coordinator, for further.
May I speak, Mr. Chairman, on this?
Carla, yes, please, go ahead. This is
Actually-
Carla Downer, the Fair Recycling Coordinator.
Thank you. Actually, all the specifications for the bid were placed in the paper for 2 weeks per county policy. And they were received, there were 4 bidders, all local companies. And the Finance and Personnel gave the okay for the Fair and Recycling Committee to accept those and then make their recommendation to the county board, which is what we were doing tonight. And we took all of those bids and had a meeting on that so that the full committee could review them and select the item that they wish to bring forward to the county board for approval. I'm
Thank
not
you.
sure where the differences are coming because everything was followed to procedure.
I have a question for you though, Carla. Would let's say a 1 month delay in this process doom it for failure, or could we deliberate an additional month?
It could, depending on whether the unit could arrive or not. So
Right.
one of the, just to give a little bit of background, one of the bidders that came in along with the one that the committee recommended to the county board stated that they couldn't guarantee delivery by the requested deliver date, and therefore then we would have to lease a mower from them for a specific amount of dollars. So given the state of the economy, I think if we prolong it, then we're going to be looking at additional expenses and not knowing when that unit could actually arrive.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Mr. McGuire.
Yes, I was under the impression that as far as the fairgrounds was concerned, that some, all, or part of the point that takes place there is actually contracted out to a private contractor who actually provides a mower. Is that, am I under a misconception
I,
there?
I,
Very well, under misconception, Mr. McGuire.
we don't contract out.
Mr. Chair, if I may,
Yes.
for discussion of a motion to postpone, question should be related to the reason for postponement.
Right.
We're just getting a little off track.
Well, yes and no. This is not an easy one. Anyone else wish to comment? Mr. Severson, I will ask you to comment, but I would ask you to try to, well, and I know you will. You'll be above board and give us
There are a
information.
lot of things that I would like to say, but I would refer back to Attorney Wendell's advice that he has given. I don't think that this should be postponed. It had been through the proper processes. I never heard, as the chairman of the Fair and Recycling Committee, heard of any allegations that Supervisor Seep has brought forth and made it to attention tonight. This is all news to me that's happened. We follow county procedure.
Right.
And we did bidding and the lowest bidder got the contract.
Yes, thank you. Anyone else? Anyone that's on the fair committee want to comment?
Mr. Chair, this is Van.
Yes, Van Nelson.
If it's going to be a problem to get this mower, maybe we should nail it down now and not wait another month. The price may change, the availability may change. I think we should go with this now and not with another month.
Okay. Thank you. Did everyone hear Mr. Nelson? Do it now, he says. Don't mess around. Mr. Seep, one more comment?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate all of the arguments brought forth in favor of voting on this tonight and approving it tonight. The issue was brought forth that only the lowest bid was selected. It should be pointed out that the lowest bid on a $13,000 overall bid was only by $100. And $100 is a very small piece of change. The county is not obligated to accept the lowest bid. There are other facts and circumstances that pertain to this issue that are very, very serious. And it will not jeopardize, in my view, the whole matter by postponing it for 1 month. It will give the board the satisfaction that it has been wholly reviewed and that the issues that have been brought forth as a complaint are heard in a fair manner. Therefore, and with all due respect to Mr. Severson and his committee, I think it is in their best interest as well for the good of the county and for the goodwill of the community among the bidders, that we postpone this matter and give it a total and fair hearing at the Personnel and Finance Committee. I don't like to see a complaint unheard or ignored by by one or more of the bidders.
Okay. Yes, Steve,
Yes,
Mr. Carroll.
could we know when the bids were opened, what date was the bids were opened?
I'll refer to Mr. Severson.
2 weeks ago? 3?
And we're just now
Looking at
hearing
my
about
calendar.
this confusion.
Yes,
Mr. Chairman, this is Carla again. So the committee had a meeting on March 2nd at 8:30 that morning and
February 2nd.
reviewed all the bids. And then the
February 2nd,
information,
it would have been.
It's February 2nd, publicly posted meeting at the fairgrounds at 8:30 in the morning.
yes, I'm sorry, not March 2nd. I meant February 2nd. I apologize.
Okay, I'm gonna sum things up. Questions have arisen causing, Mr. Seep to ask for a postponement. You've heard pros and cons, without going into specifics. I'm gonna call a roll call vote on the motion to postpone, Mr. Kalish. And a yes would be in favor of postponement. A no would be bringing this issue back to the floor.
No,
Murphy Lopez, Van Landit, Seep,
Aye.
McKee. Brewer,
Yes,
Luck,
Yes.
Manning,
we're voting, Gary, we're voting on a motion to postpone the motion to purchase the lawnmower. Mr. Seep feels more review should be given in light of what he's learned today. So a yes vote would be to postpone.
Gotchel, Glassbrenner,
No.
Rudersdorf, Gentis, Turk, Cosgrove, Frank, Severson,
No.
Williamson, Hui, Nelson,
No.
Call, McGuire. So 9, sorry, the motion to postpone fails.
By what, what were the numbers?
9 yeses,
Okay,
and then the rest noes.
all right. So the motion to postpone fails. So that brings us back to the motion before us, and I think we had a motion to move it forward and a second, did we not?
Yes.
Yes, we did.
Okay, it's been a while ago, so. Okay, you've heard the resolution.
As for roll call vote.
Well, we can take roll again, Jess.
Will there be discussion?
Yeah, we'll have a discussion. Mr. Carroll.
yes, I'm hoping that we will still find out exactly what happened so that we can understand that, and that'll give that information be given to the board so we can not do it again.
Well, yes, thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Mr. McGuire.
Haven't heard yet. Exactly the same fact, same.
I think the mowers in question were different, weren't they?
Correct.
Yeah,
Roughly the same horsepower motor, fuel injection. One is a Dixie chopper, the other one is a Ferris. Tonight, we're asking for the Ferris to be purchased.
Dixie chopper versus Ferris, if you know anything about mowers. Okay, Mr. McKee,
They all bid on the same specifications, correct?
I believe they did, yes, the specs in the paper.
You know,
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Nelson.
have them speak into their microphone a little better, please.
Oh, he's complaining he can't hear you, Richard.
Oh, they all bid on the same specifications, correct? And the answer to that was yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Seep, did you have a comment, one additional comment?
The two mowers have slightly different specifications. One is 2 inches wider than the other. And the other issue is question of suspension.
Mhm.
One has a better suspension system than the other. That basically is all that I am aware of. However, there is a lifetime warranty on the one that is not brought forward tonight for approval.
That
Thank
was
you.
never released to the committee, Mr. Chairman, that there was a lifetime warranty on it, I don't believe. I would
I
have to
don't
look
think
back
so.
at the specifications of it. But all the units met the specifications that was put in the paper. The horsepower, it stated suspension and other general information. And all the bids that were brought in by all four had some of them and some of them they didn't. So I'm not sure why there's so much controversy because the Ferris was selected. Two Ferris units were proposed, one from Homesteaders and one from St. Joseph's. And there was a $600 difference in those. And then the one that was comparable to the Ferris was the Dixie Chopper. That was $100 more than the Ferris that was selected. But otherwise, they all fell within the specs that were listed in the newspaper.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I did receive today documentation that there is a lifetime warranty on one of the items, or one of the mowers that has not been brought forward for approval tonight, but
Yes, thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Mr. McGuire?
Can you speak into his microwave or into his microphone, Mr.
Please
Chairman?
speak into the mic. Dan?
Mower breaks down, that a replacement mower is absolutely free of charge while the mower is being repaired. Sometimes that can be a few days or even a week or two. So that's a very big item. Was that considered in this bid?
Carla or Carrie, I guess, could answer that. I can't.
I didn't hear what he said. I'm sorry.
Yes, if it breaks down, a replacement is considered. Was it considered? And was it part of the bidding process?
That was not part of the bidding process, no.
He says it should be. Okay, for future.
Mr. Chairman.
Anyone else? Mr. Seep, I'll let you,
Yes,
I'm
in
gonna
reference-
give you one more comment and then.
Thank you. In reference to service, the mower that's being proposed cannot be serviced locally. It has to be taken to their Madison facility for servicing. Thank
Mr.
you.
Chairman, this is Supervisor Severs.
Yes, Mr. Severson.
The representative from Homesteader Store is here and would like to contradict that statement. It is untrue. May he have an opportunity to speak to his
Oh,
allegation.
there's
of
Rob
unsustainable
Bender back
service
there. Hi,
on
Rob.
lawnmower.
Hello, Mr. Brewer. We're being accused of doing something below board here by somebody who did not show up to accuse us face to face.
So
We've
I don't
never
think-
done
I
anything
don't
below
think that's
board.
true, but go ahead.
Well, I just listened that this was a problem, that he had a concern that we were doing something below board. We have a quote or a bid. We won the bid. As I talked to Carrie today, I will make sure there's a lawnmower for you to use if we're working on yours. Furthermore, we work at our mowers at the Richland Center shop. When we were sending stuff to Madison a year ago, and we did, is because they were out of work and we were swamped. We would go back and forth between the two stores every day. Right? They're the same store, same company, same owner. But I have enough people in-house now, enough mechanics, And everybody knows how hard it is to hire decent people, get enough people. And I'm covered on mechanicing it, or doing the mechanic work right here in Richland Center. We're kind of getting accused of stuff secondhand here without anybody asking us. Does that make sense?
Well, I don't think anyone was accusing Rob, but some other things were being brought up.
Right. So
No, in the bidding process, you were entirely above board as far as I know.
that's what I want to,
Yes. Ms. Gentis. Thank you, Rob, for your comments and being here. We appreciate that.
check one.
I guess in this case, I'd like to honor the work of the committee and follow what they're doing because
You cut out there, but what Ms. Gentis said is she wants to honor the committee. She believes due diligence was followed. So I would assume that means she would be voting in favor of the resolution. I think I'll call a roll call then on the initial resolution. And Mr. Kalish, we're voting on the resolution to purchase the Ferris mower as recommended by Finance and Personnel.
Yes. Murphy Lopez. Van Andwit. Steep. Seep.
You say see?
I did. Seep.
No.
McKee.
Yes.
Brewer.
Yes.
Luck.
Yes.
Manning. Gotchel. Glassburner. Rudersdorf. Gentis.
yes,
Turk. Cosgrove. Frank. Severson.
Yes.
Williamson. Cooey. Nelson.
Yes.
Call. McGuire. Motion passes with 19 in favor and 2 not in favor.
Thank you.
18 in favor, sorry, 18 in favor.
Thank you, Mr. Kalish. Okay, takes us down to item number 10, a resolution authorizing the purchase of 2 Cisco 9300 L24 port switches with redundant power supplies and stacking kits with licensing from JComp Technologies at a cost of $14,135.58. Mr. Kalish. Experiencing technical difficulties.
This will be resolution number 22-13. Now therefore be it resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that approval is hereby granted for the purchase of 2 Cisco 9300 L24 port switches with redundant power supplies and stacking kits with licensing from JComp Technologies at a cost of $14,135.58. Be it further resolved that funds to carry out this resolution shall come from Fund 92, and approval is hereby granted for MIS Director to sign the purchase agreement for these items. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon its passage and publication. And this resolution is being offered to you by the Finance and Personnel Committee.
You've heard the resolution. What's your pleasure? Mr. McKee? Mr. Cooey seconds? I'll probably call on that lady behind us, Barb, to make some comments here, or our administrator.
I would defer to Director Scott to be able to best describe what these will do for the county.
Thank you.
Do you have a microphone, Barb?
please.
So we'll be hearing from Barb Scott, IS Director for the county.
These switches run the traffic that go into the server. They just need to be replaced. We planned on replacing them. The money was from the borrowed money and it would be appropriate use of that money. The current switches, I believe, are like 8 years old, and as they run all of the traffic to our servers, they are very, very important.
Okay. I don't think we have any choice here, but Are we ready to vote? All those in favor of the purchase signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The resolution is adopted. Number 11, a resolution approving the purchase of geo-validation upgrade for Spillman module. Mr. Kalish.
This will be resolution number 22-14. Now therefore be it resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that approval is hereby granted for the purchase of Spillman Geo Validation Upgrade at a cost of $31,326.03. Be it further resolved that funds to carry out this resolution shall come from Fund 93, American Recovery Plan Act funds, and is hereby granted for the MIS Director to sign the purchase agreement for these items. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon its passage and publication, and this resolution is being offered to you by the Finance and Personnel Committee.
You've heard the resolution. What's your pleasure? Mrs. Call, Mr. McKee. Probably Barb again is going to tell us about this. Yes?
This is a module upgrade
Jason.
to the Spillman CAD software, RMS, for the sheriff's department, and basically for their computer-aided dispatch. The current Centrex Classic mapping is no longer supported, and this will be a new update that will bring in mapping tied to the Esri servers that will give us a more current and updated mapping, and is basically required to upgrade further.
But doesn't that help us find people, Jason? I mean, when we get a call, that's what it's for, isn't it?
Yeah, there's two separate pieces. There's a 911 mapping and then this, and they kind of work hand in hand.
Right. Okay. I want people to find me if I need it, so. Okay, any other comments, questions? All those in favor of this resolution signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted. Number 12, a resolution approving the purchase of Sophos antivirus software. I probably pronounced that wrong. Mr. Kalish, see if you can do better.
All right, this will be resolution number 22-15. Now therefore be it resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that approval is hereby granted for the purchase of Sophos Intercept X Advanced Endpoint and Server Protection for 3 years at a cost of $26,551. Be it further resolved that funds to carry out this resolution shall come from each department's budget based on the number of computers that are within that department, and approval is hereby granted for MIS Director to sign the purchase agreement for these items. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon its passage and publication, and is being offered to you by the Finance and Personnel Committee.
Okay, you've heard the resolution, and Mr. Van Landijk has already made the motion, seconded by Mr. Williamson. I guess more of the same. Any comments from behind me?
This is an update to your software system. In fact, through this contract, we're going to get 3 years for the price of 2. Thankfully, we had budget capacity to fit it in. This should cover us then for the next 3 years for the price of 2.
Right, we don't want to be held hostage, so it's money well spent. All right, you've heard the resolution. We'll call a vote. All those in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? Hearing none, the resolution is adopted. Number 13, a resolution approving an amendment to 2021 contract for the Department of Health and Human Services. Mr. Kalish.
This will be resolution number 22-16. Now therefore be it resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that approval is hereby granted for the following amendment to the following 2021 contract with Premier Financial Management Services of Milwaukee, with the original contract being for $100,000, amended to $175,000, and now an additional amendment to $210,000 due to an increased need for financial management services to children with disabilities being served by the Behavioral Health Services Unit. Be it further resolved that the Health and Human Services Board is hereby authorized to amend the above contracts by not more than 15%. Be it further resolved that Director of Health and Human Services is hereby authorized to sign the above contracts on behalf of the county in accordance with this resolution, and be it further resolved that the resolution shall be effective immediately upon its passage and publication and is being offered to you by the County Board Supervisor members of the Health and Human Services Board.
You've heard the resolution. What's your pleasure? Mrs. Rudersdorf, seconded by Mrs. Glassbrenner. Comments, questions? Is Tracy with us? No.
Yep. She is online.
Oh, okay, please. Ms. Thorson, Director of HHS for Richland County.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, this is a contract for financial services for the Children's Long-Term Support Services Program. And this is essentially cleanup that we utilized it more than anticipated for those services for families. And we need to increase the contract so that it matches the amount that was utilized.
Thank you. Any additional information or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor of the resolution indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. The resolution is adopted.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir, Mr. Sieve.
could I ask for assistance from MIS with my iPad? I can't seem to maintain a connection.
Okay. I think Superwoman is on the way to help you out. All right, we had a technical problem there. Item number 14, a resolution approving an amendment to 2022 contract for the Department of Health and Human Services. Mr. Kalish.
This will be resolution number 22-17. Now therefore be it resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that approval is hereby granted for the following amendment to the following 2022 contract. This contract is with Premier Financial Management Services of Milwaukee, with the original contract being for $100,000 and now being amended to $210,000 due to an increased need for financial management services to children with disabilities being served by the Behavioral Health Services Unit. Be further resolved that the Health and Human Services Board is hereby authorized to amend the above contract by not more than 15%. Be it further resolved that Director of Health and Human Services Board is hereby authorized to sign the above contracts on behalf of the county in accordance with this resolution. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon its passage and publication and is being offered to you by the County Board Supervisor members of the Health and Human Services Board.
You've heard the resolution. What's your pleasure? Mr. Cosgrove and Mr. Gotchell seconds. Ms. Thorson, care to comment, please?
Yes, Mr. Chair. So this is for the 2022 contract. The previous resolution was for last year. Because we saw the utilization up at that amount, we're asking to amend this contract so that it's a comparable amount. We anticipate utilizing it a similar amount in 2022.
Thank you. So you've heard the explanation. You have the resolution. Move forward. It's placed before us. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. The resolution is adopted. Thank you. I think that takes us to item number 15. Is that right?
Yes.
Resolution approving provider contracts for 2022 for Health and Human Services Department. Mr. Kalish.
This will be resolution number 22-18. Now therefore be it resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that approval is hereby granted for the Health and Human Services Board to enter into the following 2022 contract with Forward Home for Boys of Richland Center for $100,000 to provide group home services to children being served by the Child and Youth Services Unit. Be it further resolved that the Health and Human Services Board is hereby authorized to amend any of the above contracts by not more than 15%. Be it further resolved that the Director of Health and Human Services Department, Ms. Tracy Thorson, is hereby authorized to sign the above contracts on behalf of Richland County in accordance with this resolution. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon its passage and publication and is being offered to you by the County Board Supervisor members of the Health and Human Services Board.
Thank you. You've heard the resolution, and Mr. Van Landijk has already made a preemptive motion to move it forward, seconded by Mrs. Rudersdorf. And I will ask Director Thorson if she has any comments.
Just, this is a contract for 2022. It missed our list of contracts that were approved at the end of last year, and so we're making sure that we get it. We do utilize this placement for children.
Thank you. Okay, sufficient explanation probably. All those in favor of this resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The resolution is adopted. Item number 16, Administrator Langreck, do we have any appointments to various boards, commissions, and committees?
Not this evening, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. And that takes us, segues nicely into your report, if you have anything, and then we have the Register of Deeds report.
I do very quickly to make time available. I wanted to let you know that I did represent on your behalf Richland County at the Legislative Exchange on February 7th, 8th, and 9th down in Madison. It was an interesting session. It was kind of like the Wisconsin Counties Association Fall Conference, but all this was really based on legislative initiatives, understanding what the state is doing with the different bills that are in place, as well as networking opportunities. I intend to have a full report put together for Finance and Personnel Committee on the March 1st date, so I'll have that report put into their file and folder, and certainly encourage everybody to take a peek at it, as it was quite the fun-filled adventure, and it gave you a really kind of a feel for how how we interact with Wisconsin Counties Association, who then lobbies on behalf of counties in totality. Dates that I recommend that all supervisors mark on your calendar going forward here. This Thursday at 3 p.m. there will be a Rules and Resolutions Committee meeting, special meeting. Special in the extra meeting is maybe the right way to say it. Items that are going to appear on there is going to be more discussion and possible action on bringing forward a committee structure changes, as the conversation is building towards taking all of our 50 or so committees and trying to put them into umbrellaed underneath standing committees. On the 18th, the following Friday, there will be a performance evaluation for your administrator through Finance and Personnel. You can reach out to Sean Murphy Lopez if you have significant things that you would like addressed in that. It will be closed session. On Monday, the 28th, there will be strategic planning. We're looking to finalize the work plan, as well as work on our mission and vision statements. If you have strong opinions, ideas on what those should look like, especially with the mission vision, to help us digest that, certainly encourage you folks to reach out to Supervisor Glassbrenner, who's chairing that. On March 1st, Tuesday, will be Finance and Personnel. There'll be significant discussion in regards to reviewing the employee compensation package and having discussions on what we want that to look forward going forward into 2023 and beyond, as well as some more preliminary budget items. And then there is also now a petition for $590,000 to meet a local 10% on a grant for broadband expansion that reaches from Sextonville all the way up past Ithaca over towards Rock Ridge, petitioned by Laval Telephone Company. On the 3rd of March, there'll be another Rules and Resolutions. That will be potentially the last one before we kind of get to the session change. Recommend that you stay engaged again if you want to be involved with conversations and input on what the committee structures look like, as well as the duties and responsibilities for chair and vice. And then another item that is coming through the works and is in the final phases with LAJC is a resolution for authorization for potentially over $7 million in bonding for a new radio tower project. So these are all very big pieces that are being juggled in the air right now. A lot of chewing and a lot of hard work being done by committees. And again, recommend either tuning in, showing up in person, or viewing the videos afterwards, so that you can kind of understand better the different talking points, and then being able to engage with those committees or myself on appropriate types of questions, so that when they hit this body, that you've had a chance to fully kind of appreciate what's being brought forward. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Langrick, can you please give the dates of the Rules and Resolution Committee meetings once again?
Rules
so
and
everyone gets those.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chair, the next Rules and Resolutions Committee meeting is going to be this Thursday, the 17th at 3 p.m. And then the following one will be March 3rd at 1 p.m.
Okay,
County boardroom and on WebEx.
and on WebEx and county boardroom. And the reason I asked Administrator Langrick to repeat those is this is very important. We're making changes in our committee structure, and it will change, hopefully not too dramatically the way we do business, but it's going to change the functioning of the way we do business. In other words, more things will be broad and maybe funneled down into a narrower neck, if you will. And it's going to change things. So I want you all to be aware of it. And the best place to learn about it is to attend those Rules and Resolution Committee meetings. So that takes us down to Sue Triggs. Sue, are you on the line? Do we see her behind me? Is she there?
Mr. Chair, I don't believe she was going to be present, but asked that I share this with you all, and should any of you have any questions, you're welcome to call her at her office.
Okay, Mr. Kalish, did you want to go through the
Mr.
her
Chair,
annual report or not?
the annual report is presented in your packet and on the website. It's item number 17 that you'll see.
And I looked over Sue Triggs' annual report, and I find it satisfactory. But what I do find disturbing, but I'm not surprised, so we had 163 births in the county and 176 deaths. So let's see, that doing some quick math, that means we're down 13 there. So I guess that would be indicative of what we already know. We're losing population. So, thank you. You do what you can, Mr. McGuire. That's what I ask.
Encouragement from Wisconsin Counties Association Madison was to go make more babies, so. Thank you, Supervisor Glassman.
I have correspondence that I'd like to share with you. This is from Chelsea Wanacke, and she's reminding us, you all have this in front of you, but I really want to emphasize this since we have extra time tonight. After a 2-year hiatus, the Get Real Planning Committee is now planning for Get Real 2022 for Wednesday, April 27th, 2022, 8 a.m. to 3:30. This event is not possible without the help of volunteers. We anticipate the need for additional volunteers. Please feel free to make copies, share with friends. We hope you'll be able to join us as a volunteer. Face masks will be required, morning snacks, beverages, boxed lunches, blah. If you're able to volunteer, fill out this form. And I would personally like to say that this is really a worthwhile thing. And if you've ever observed it, the kids get, the high schoolers get so much credit, and they have to, dollars if you will, they have to spend it. And the first thing that they meet right out of the chute is the guy selling new cars. And then after that, then a couple other things. And then finally, they have to pay their rent. So a lot of life decisions there have to be made. So, been a very quick meeting. And that takes us down to item number 19, adjournment. Mr. McKee, Mr. Van Landijk, all those in favor of adjourning, signify by saying aye. 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 Opposed, we are adjourned. Thank you.